The mission to planet Gluva. Jack was a human technician. He wasn't a soldier, not a fighter. He fixed things. That was his job. So when he was sent alone to planet Gluva to repair a broken satellite tower, he didn't worry. It was supposed to be a short trip, 2 days at most. Gluva was a quiet world. No war, no storms, no wild animals. Just thick forests, warm air, and silence. But Jack noticed something strange the moment he landed. The air smelled sweet, too sweet. The trees looked like they were watching him. And his communication system kept making soft, clicking noises, even when it was turned off. Still, he set up camp and started his work. He told himself it was just another lonely planet, nothing more. That night, the jungle whispered. Jack sat near his small power generator, checking his tools, when he heard it. Soft steps, light breathing, like someone was watching him. He turned fast, shining his light through the trees. Nothing, but he could feel it. Eyes on him. He picked up his scanner. It showed nothing unusual, but the air was heavier now, and even the wind had stopped moving. The next morning, Jack walked toward the tower ruins. He passed through thick vines and strange plants. The place looked old, almost like something had once lived here, something big. The satellite was half buried in glowing moss. Jack opened his kit and started repairs. That's when he saw her. She was standing still in the trees. Very tall, very still, not human. Her skin was pale purple, shining in the sunlight. Her eyes glowed yellow. She wore almost nothing, and her long hair flowed like water. She looked young, but her eyes seemed ancient. Jack stepped back in shock. The alien girl tilted her head and spoke. Not in English, not in any known language. Just soft, musical sounds. Jack activated his translator, but it didn't work. Her words weren't in the database. She walked closer, slowly. Jack raised his hands, trying to show peace. She reached out her hand, almost touched him. That's when Jack ran that he didn't know why. She didn't attack. She didn't scream. But something deep in his brain told him to run. His heart pounded. He didn't stop until he reached the cave near his camp. He sat inside, breathing hard. The alien girl hadn't chased him. Not yet. Inside the cave, Jack turned on his emergency translator and replayed her voice. It took some time, but the device started learning. The words slowly became clear. I have chosen you, she had said. You will feed me. Jack stared at the device. What did she mean, feed? He checked the translator's notes. The word was wrong. It didn't mean give food. It meant something else. Something physical. Something biological. The translator gave more words. My body is in bloom. I need your warmth. Your energy. Your salt. Jack felt cold all over. Salt. Energy. What was she? He checked his database. Gluvians had little research. Only one report mentioned the females entered a feeding cycle every 10 years. During that time, their bodies became extremely active. They searched for strong, healthy males from any species. The feeding wasn't violent, but it was overwhelming. And if the process wasn't stopped, the male could collapse, even die. Jack stood up fast. This wasn't just a misunderstanding. This alien girl had picked him. She wanted to use his body for something nature designed, but science didn't understand. She didn't want to hurt him, but her body might. He looked out from the cave. The jungle was quiet again. But in the distance, he saw something shiny move between the trees. She was still there. Watching, Jack grabbed his gear. He had to leave. He had to call for help. But his comms were dead again. The satellite still needed repairs, and the girl now knew where he lived. She wasn't trying to harm him, not in the way humans thought. But she was hunting him for something she believed was natural. That Jack's hands shook as he checked his scanner. Still nothing. But he knew she was close. And the worst part? Part of him was curious. She didn't look dangerous. She looked beautiful, strange and soft, like a dream. But dreams could turn into nightmares. That he whispered to himself. I'm not going to be a meal. Then he packed his tools, tied his boots tight, and stepped out into the jungle again. He didn't know where to go. He only knew one thing now. He had to stay away from her touch. Because once it began, there would be no stopping it, and Jack wasn't ready to die for a kiss. Asterisk the strange biology of the Gluvian female. Jack couldn't sleep. The cave felt colder, even though the jungle outside was hot and wet. His hands shook, not from fear, but from confusion. What was that girl? Why did her voice feel like it reached into his brain? Why did her words, though soft and gentle, feel more dangerous than any weapon. The translator buzzed beside him. It had collected more words from her short sentence. Jack read the results again. You will feed me. Your salt. Your warmth. Your fear. I will drink you whole. He didn't understand at first. Salt and warmth could mean sweat. Fear could mean adrenaline. But drink? It wasn't about food. It was about absorption. Jack's eyes widened as he searched deeper into the translator's database. And that's when he found a half-deleted report from a lost science team. It described Gluvian biology. Very little was known. But one fact stood out like a flashing red light. Gluvian females absorb nutrients through skin-to-skin suction, not from the mouth, from parts of their bodies that activated during their mating season. The word season was wrong, though. The better translation was harvest. And worse, the report mentioned that the suction was automatic. Once started, it couldn't be stopped by either side. It drained more than just fluids. It pulled minerals, hormones, and even emotions. Jack dropped the device. His heart pounded. He whispered, "That's not mating. That's feeding." The report ended with a final line. Human males are especially vulnerable. Contact must be avoided. Repeat, avoid all contact. Jack stood up fast. His shirt was wet with sweat. He remembered how close she got to him in the jungle, just inches away. If he hadn't run, if he had reached out by mistake, she would have begun feeding. His mind raced. He remembered her eyes. Not angry, not cruel, but hungry. Deep hunger, like she had been waiting for a long time, and had finally found what she needed. Why him? Maybe his scent. Maybe something in his blood. He remembered reading once that mosquitoes were attracted to certain blood types more than others. Maybe this was the same. But instead of a bite, it was something worse. Something far more intimate. He looked down at his skin. Would touching her cause pain? Would it trap him? Jack grabbed his gear and left the cave. He had to finish the satellite. If he could send a warning, maybe others could stay away. Maybe someone could help him escape. But he also knew she was still watching him. The jungle felt different now. Every tree looked like it was hiding her. Every gust of wind sounded like her breath. The forest was alive with silence, heavy and strange. Jack climbed the hill toward the satellite tower. He remembered something from the report. There was a reason Gluvian females were feared by other alien species. Not because they killed, but because they didn't stop. Their bodies were made to harvest life. And the more they fed, the stronger they became. He reached the broken tower. The panel was cracked, but reparable. Jack set to work fast, hands trembling. He checked over his shoulder every few seconds. He didn't see her, but he felt her. His skin tingled. His neck felt warm. Was it fear? Or was it her? Then he heard a sound. Not footsteps. Not breathing. Just a soft, wet sound, like slurping. Jack froze. The sound came from behind the vines. A plant shifted. Something moved under the leaves. He grabbed his shock stick and turned. But nothing was there. He heard it again. That same slurp. Sticky, slow, and strange. Then a whisper. Don't be scared. It will feel good. Jack backed away. Her voice came from everywhere now. The translator didn't even need to process it anymore. She was learning his language, fast. She was adapting. He dropped his tools and ran again. But this time, she followed. Her voice floated through the trees. You are sweet. You are perfect. You will fill me. Jack's heart thundered. He ducked behind a rock, panting hard. He couldn't fight her. He couldn't touch her. Even defending himself would put him at risk. He realized something terrifying. His own body was the weapon she wanted to use against him, that he couldn't win by being strong, that he could only survive by staying untouched. And now, as her scent filled the air, sweet, thick, and warm, Jack knew something worse. She wasn't just hunting. She was awakening. And he was the first human to ever survive this close to a Gluvian female in bloom. But maybe not for long. The hunt begins. Jack didn't know how long he ran. His legs hurt, his throat burned, and his lungs screamed for air. But fear kept him moving. Behind him, the jungle shifted like it was alive. The trees didn't make normal sounds anymore. The wind whispered in her voice. Her presence was everywhere now. She was no longer hiding. She was hunting. Jack ducked into an old Gluvian ruin half covered by roots and vines. It looked abandoned, but the stone walls were still strong. The air inside was dry and cold, a sharp difference from the thick heat outside. He leaned against a wall, trying to breathe quietly, The place was strange. Symbols covered the walls. He touched one gently. It lit up with a soft green glow. Strange energy pulsed through the stones. The deeper Jack moved inside, the more he felt like he wasn't alone. But this wasn't her. This was old. Very old. He saw carvings. Stone images of alien females, tall, beautiful, and powerful, standing over small, weak-looking creatures. In every image, the males were lying down, drained and pale. Some looked happy. Most looked broken. He stared at one carving for a long time. A single male surrounded by a dozen Gluvian females. They all touched him. He had no chance to escape. Jack felt cold. This was not a love ritual. It was harvest. A method of survival. He finally understood. This wasn't about mating, or attraction, or choice. The female Gluvians weren't trying to seduce. They were obeying a biological need. A hunger designed into their bodies. He touched the carving again. A small drawer opened under it, dust rising from inside. Jack found something, a report disc. It looked ancient, but still readable. He wiped it clean and slid it into his portable reader. It confirmed everything. Long ago, an alien research crew came here. Only one returned. His words were short and strange. Her touch burned. Her skin drank me. Her lips smiled while my body emptied. Jack shivered. There was one more line. Do not let her kiss you. That's how she starts. Jack shut the device. He turned to leave, but the path behind him was no longer empty. There she stood, the alien girl. She had followed his scent through stone and time. Her eyes were brighter now, glowing like golden suns. Her skin shimmered with strange wetness, as if her body had changed in the heat of her hunger. She took one slow step forward, and Jack backed away. I only want to feel, she whispered. You smell like life. So full, so ready. Jack's hands shook. He raised his shock stick, but she didn't stop. She smiled, not wide, not cruel. A soft, slow smile, the kind that made your heart forget to beat. You will taste good, she said softly. The others were dry. But you are warm. Jack pressed a button and dropped a flash bomb at his feet. White light exploded, forcing her to cover her face. He didn't wait. He ran deeper into the ruins. But now he understood something. Horrible. She wasn't chasing him to hurt him. That would be simple. No, she wanted to be close. To bond. To drain everything that made him human. Not by force, but by need. He stopped near an old storage chamber and tried to think. His body would betray him. Sweat, breath, warmth. Even his heartbeat could attract her. She didn't need eyes to find him anymore. Jack realized she had marked him, and not just with scent. She was tuned to him now. Linked, he was her chosen one. Not because he was strong, but because he was soft, alive, and alone. The jungle was no longer the danger. She was, and she wasn't giving up. Not now. Not until her body got what it wanted. And Jack knew, deep in his bones, this was only the beginning of the hunt. Asterisk trapped with no way out. Jack had always believed that walls brought safety. That's strong. Doors, thick metal, and dark corners could protect a man from anything. But inside the ancient Gluvian ruin, he learned something new. No wall could block a hunger that wasn't physical. He had been running for hours, but now the ruins had trapped him. Every path led back to the center chamber. Every turn circled around. It was like the place itself was working against him. Or maybe she was guiding it. The alien girl moved without sound. She didn't chase like a predator. She didn't scream or roar. She whispered. She walked slowly, patient, smiling. Her voice floated through the stone halls like mist. Why do you run, sweet one? She asked softly. It hurts me. Jack sat in the corner, sweating, heart racing. He had blocked the door with metal pipes and ancient crates, but he knew it wouldn't matter. She wasn't breaking in. She was waiting for him to come out. Her body didn't need speed or strength. It had time. She had already chosen him. His mind was spinning. He remembered more of what the old report said. Once a Gluvian female enters full bloom, her scent binds to her chosen male. He cannot escape it. He will always feel her, want her, fear her. And that was the worst part. Jack felt it now that he didn't want to touch her. But part of him wanted to see her again. Even though he knew she would drain him. Even though he knew her kiss was not love, it was the beginning of the end. He wiped the sweat from his face. The salt. That was what she liked. She had said it. You are full of salt, she had whispered earlier. So full. So ripe. Jack shivered. He heard her footsteps now. Soft, slow, steady. She was on the other side of the wall. I don't want to hurt you, her voice came. Again. But I must feed. You were made for this. Why do you fight it? Jack stood up, grabbed his shock stick, and readied himself. He knew she couldn't be stopped by pain. But maybe he could distract her long enough to escape again. Then, silence. She was gone. He waited 5 minutes. Then 10. The quiet was worse than her voice. Jack stepped out slowly, checking each hallway with his scanner. No sign of her. He walked fast toward the exit path. It was open. He stepped into the sunlight and froze. She was standing at the entrance, waiting. Her skin glowed in the light. Her body shimmered like silver liquid. Her hair floated in the wind. But it was her eyes that scared him most. They were not human anymore. No anger. No hate. Just deep, empty need. Don't run, she said calmly. You are already mine. Jack tried to move, but his legs felt heavy. He took a step back. She took a step forward. I feel your fear, she whispered. It makes you taste even better. Jack swung the shock stick. She didn't move. The stick hit her arm and sent a wave of sparks. She laughed. It wasn't pain. It was pleasure. She closed her eyes and smiled wide. More? I want more. Do it again. Jack dropped the weapon and ran toward the cliff nearby. He didn't think. He jumped. The river below crashed against the rocks. Cold, fast water wrapped around him and pulled him far downstream. His body slammed into sharp stones, but he kept moving. He didn't stop until the forest opened up again. He crawled to the shore and looked back. She wasn't following. Not yet. But he knew something deep and final. This wasn't the end. He had touched her, shocked her, made her feel something powerful, and now she wanted more. She was not just interested. She was addicted, and Jack was her favorite taste. A shocking escape attempt. Jack dragged his tired body through the mud, every breath sharp in his chest. The river had saved him, but also nearly killed him. His clothes were torn, his arms were cut, and his tools were mostly gone. Only one thing still worked, his mind. And it was racing. He had touched her, even shocked her. But instead of driving her away, it had awakened something deeper. She didn't scream. She smiled. She liked it. That was the most terrifying part. His pain didn't scare her. It excited her. Now, she would never stop. Jack reached a small clearing where his emergency crate had dropped days earlier. He opened it fast. Batteries, wires, signal flares. He stared at them for a moment, then had an idea. If she liked energy, maybe he could overload her senses. He began building a trap. Using his last battery pack, a voltage booster, and sharp metal rods, he created something crude, but strong. If she stepped on the wires, the shock would hit her. Harder than before. Not just a tingle. A full burst of power. He didn't want to hurt her. But he wanted her to back off. As night fell, the jungle grew quiet again. That was a bad sign. When animals stop making sounds, it means something bigger is nearby. And the air became thick. Not just with heat, but with scent. Her scent. Sweet, soft, and heavy, like warm sugar and flowers. It filled Jack's lungs, slowed his thoughts. He placed the trap on the forest floor and crouched behind a rock, holding the trigger wire. His hands were wet with sweat, but not just from fear. He was changing. The report had warned about this too. Once the Gluvian female marks a male, his biology slowly begins to respond. His body becomes more sensitive. His heart rate rises when she is near. His resistance weakens. Jack cursed under his breath. I'm not food. I'm not hers. Then he saw her. She walked into the clearing, almost floating. Her skin glowed in the moonlight. Her eyes sparkled like stars. She looked like something from a dream. And that was the danger. He wanted to look away, but couldn't. She stepped on the wire. Jack pulled the trigger. A blast of white light shot up her legs, through her chest. She gasped, but not in pain. In pleasure. Her body shivered. She moaned softly, like the power touched a deep part of her mind. She fell to her knees, breathing heavy. Jack froze. The shock had made her stronger. She turned to him slowly, her smile wide. More, she whispered. Please more. Jack ran. This time, she followed. She moved faster than before, almost playful, like a cat chasing a mouse. She didn't need to catch him yet. She was enjoying the chase. Jack's thoughts spun. The trap had failed. Not because it didn't work, but because her body craved stimulation. The more energy she felt, the more excited she became. He had made a mistake. He had fed her, he jumped through trees, fell over roots, slid through mud. His legs screamed in pain, but he kept running. She laughed behind him, not loudly, softly, like she was singing. You run well. You breathe so hard. Your salt is dripping. I can smell it. Jack found a cliffside cave and slipped inside. He rolled a boulder in front of the narrow entrance and collapsed, chest heaving. His vision blurred. His mind raced. How do you fight something that loves pain? How do you escape someone who becomes stronger the more you resist? He lay there in silence, trying to think. Then he heard something new. A voice. Not hers. An old one. Deep. Dry. Jack looked up. In the dark corner of the cave, a figure sat, covered in moss. An alien elder, barely alive. The creature opened its eyes and spoke. You touched her, the elder whispered. You cannot run now. She will follow you across stars. She will never forget your scent. Jack's mouth was dry. What can I do? How do I stop her? The elder coughed. You don't. You survive. Or you change. Jack's heart dropped. Change? The elder's eyes closed again. And outside, her voice came once more. Come out, Jack. I'm still hungry. Humanity strikes back. Jack had reached his limit. His body was bruised. His mind was stretched thin, and every corner of the planet seemed filled with her voice. But now, something was different. He wasn't alone anymore. After crawling out of the cave with the elder's warning still echoing in his ears, Jack activated the emergency beacon on his last backup device. It sent a short-range pulse, one that could only be picked up by the nearby human outpost. He didn't expect much, but they came. 2 hours later, a human scout ship landed in the valley. A rescue team found Jack hiding in the underbrush, his clothes soaked, his eyes wide and tired. He tried to speak, but his voice cracked. The medic scanned him and froze. You've been marked, she said. The team brought him to the outpost and placed him in a sealed medical room. Jack explained everything. The girl, the ruins, the feeding, the failed trap. The officers didn't laugh. They didn't doubt him. They had heard rumors, but now they had proof. Jack wasn't the first, he was just the only one who made it back alive. Commander Reeves stared at the report with a tight jaw. We never should have let any humans come near Gluvian territory. Their biology isn't just dangerous, it's addictive. It rewrites instinct. She's not hunting him because she's evil. She's doing what her kind was made to do. Jack stood behind the glass, fists clenched. Then stop her. The commander nodded. We will. That night, the outpost locked down. The humans armed the perimeter, set up scanners, drones, and pulse barriers. They expected a quiet approach, but what came next, no one was ready for. The skies above the base turned green. The wind went silent. The scanners all went dead at once. Not just turned off, fried, melted. Then the power dropped, and the scent came in. That sweet, warm, soft scent. The one that stuck to your lungs and made your thoughts blur. She's here, Jack said, his voice shaking. But she's not alone. Through the front gate, figures appeared, tall, glowing, graceful. Not one, not 2.7 Gluvian females, each of them in bloom. Each of them connected to Jack through some unknown signal. His scent, his taste, his touch, they had followed it. The first to step forward was her, the same girl, the one who had whispered his name in the jungle. Her eyes locked onto Jack behind the glass. You ran far, she said softly. Now we all want to taste you. The guards opened fire. Plasma rounds lit the field. But the Gluvian girls didn't scream. They didn't fall. The energy hit their bodies and disappeared, absorbed. Their skin shimmered brighter. They moved faster. The humans switched to sonic weapons, no use. Everything just fed them more. Commander Reeves cursed and ordered full retreat. But it was too late. The base's systems were dead. Doors wouldn't close. Drones refused to fly. The Gluvian girls walked inside, slow and graceful, like they had all the time in the universe. Jack knew what was happening. It wasn't war. It was collection. And he was the prize point. One of the alien girls touched a guard's helmet. The man collapsed, not dead, just emptied. As if all the life had drained from him. Jack turned to the commander. I need to speak to her. You're insane, Reeves snapped. They'll drain you. Jack shook his head. They already could have. But she didn't. She wants me to come willingly. Reeves stared at him, then finally nodded. Jack stepped into the hallway, unarmed, heart pounding. The alien girl waited. She reached out her hand. He didn't take it, he only asked, "Why me?" She smiled. "Because your fear is strong. Your blood is full. Your heart beats so loudly. It sings to us." Jack took a step back. "Then take someone else." Her smile faded. "We don't want someone else. We want you." And behind her, the others nodded slowly. Jack looked around the wrecked base. Humanity had tried to fight and failed. He realized the truth. This wasn't a battle of weapons. It was a battle of biology, and humanity had just learned some hungers cannot be destroyed, only delayed. Asterisk the final choice. Run or submit. The base was broken. Lights flickered, alarms failed, and the scent of Gluvian bloom hung in the air like smoke. It touched everything: walls, clothes, even thoughts. Jack stood alone in the hallway, watching her come closer with every slow step. She didn't look like a monster. She looked like a dream: glowing skin, soft eyes, and a smile that promised peace. But Jack knew better. That smile was a trap. Her kindness was hunger. She didn't want to hurt him. No, what she wanted was far more dangerous. She wanted him to surrender. Behind her, the other Gluvian females waited like shadows. They didn't speak. They didn't move. They just stared at Jack with that same quiet hunger. The human soldiers were gone, either passed out or hiding. Commander Reeves was injured, too weak to lead. The last human standing was Jack. He had two choices: run again or face her. But where could he run now? She had followed him through jungle, river, ruins, and stone. She had tracked his scent across miles. She wasn't angry. She wasn't violent. She was patient. "You can leave," she said gently, "but you'll never be free." Jack took a deep breath. "Why not?" She blinked slowly. "Because your body is already changing. You are bonded. Even now, I feel your heartbeat. I feel your heat. I feel your fear." Jack's legs trembled. He could feel it too. Something inside him was different. His skin felt warmer. His thoughts came slower. Her voice made his chest tighten. She reached out her hand again. "You were never food," she whispered. "You were chosen. You're not meant to die. You're meant to join." Jack's heart raced. He remembered what the elders said in the cave. You survive, or you change. Was this what he meant? He looked at her hand. It wasn't threatening. It was soft, safe. But he remembered what the old research log said. Do not let her kiss you. That's how she starts. Jack stepped back. Her face fell. "You're afraid of me," she said, voice trembling for the first time. Jack nodded. "Yes, because I don't want to lose myself." She took another step, slower this time. "You think you'll become something else?" "I think I already am," Jack said. "And I don't know if that's good or bad." She tilted her head. "What if it's both?" Behind her, the others moved slightly, just enough to remind him time was running out. They wouldn't wait forever. Sooner or later, hunger would win. One of them would break the rules. Then it would be over. Jack made his decision. He walked toward her, but he didn't take her hand. Instead, he spoke. "I will go with you, but only if you promise one thing." Her eyes lit up. "Anything." "No feeding," Jack said. "Not until I understand what I'm becoming. Not until I choose." The air went still. Silence. Then, she nodded. "I can wait," she said. "But not forever." Jack turned to the ruins of the base, the broken lights, the fallen humans. Then he looked back at her. "I don't think I was ever running from you," he said quietly. "I was running from what you showed me about myself." She smiled again. This time, it wasn't hunger. It was something close to respect. She turned, walked away slowly, and he followed. As they disappeared into the jungle, the night swallowed their shapes. No screams, no violence, just silence. The Gluvian hunger had not ended, but for now, it had chosen peace. And Jack had chosen something harder than escape. He chose to understand the unknown.